to another case of the deep state. And I want you to listen to this story. This comes from theblaze.com. And it is a must read and share with friends, because I read the news and I have producers, and Pat, you have producers. You read the news every day. This one I cannot believe happened, and I didn't know. Believe it or not, there was an Islamic terrorist attack in Fargo, North Dakota earlier this month. One that local law enforcement believes could have resulted in countless casualties instead of the one police officer that was killed. Like so many people from Syria last decade, Mohammed Barakat was brought to the U.S. as an asylum seeker, became a citizen in 2019. He returned the favor on July 14th by randomly firing 60 rounds from his car near the site of a car crash on 25th Street in Fargo. Likely waiting for the police and first responders to come to the scene, he allegedly gunned down 3 police officers in an unprovoked attack. He killed one police officer, Jake Wallen, seriously injured 2 other officers, as well as a allegedly female, civilian. There has been almost a complete blockade of this story. It is nowhere in the national media. It took over a week for any information about his immigration history to even come to light. As we were watching the streets of France burn, this story happens and nobody reports on it. Now, so you know, this is not your average, street thug, mentally ill person. Given the lack of criminal record or manifesto left behind, this has the hallmarks of targeted jihad. Because listen, police found in his car 1,800 live rounds, along with 3 rifles, 4 handguns, all of which were loaded. He also had a grenade, gas canisters, and explosives in his car. According to the North Dakota Attorney General, Drew Wrigley, the car was filled with also large amounts of tannerite, a highly explosive compound made from ammonium nitrate. Wrigley also said that Barakat was looking for significant crowd events in the area. He had a clear path. He was going to downtown Fargo. If it wasn't for Officer Zach Robinson taking out the gunman's rifle from 75 feet, listen to that, 75 feet with a 9mm handgun, that's an incredible shot. It would have been a mass casualty event, because he appeared to be on the way to the downtown street fair. The FBI found his computer in his apartment, and it contained a search history revealing that he looked up mass casualty events and how to cause certain injuries. The last article that appeared in his search history was a local news article titled, "Thousands Enjoy First Day of Downtown Fargo Street Fair." So the FBI still doesn't know the motive at all. They're surprised by this. They didn't see it. Now listen to this. This is the part that gets incredible. 8% of Fargo, North Dakota is now foreign born. Most of that is from the Islamic areas in Africa, like Sudan or Somalia. Even much of the European refugee is Bosnian. The massive influx of refugee resettlement done by our country has shipped these Islamic people to Fargo. Fargo is growing much faster than the rest of the state or the country. Population from 74,000 to 128, and it's Somalis, Iraqis, Bosnians, Bangladeshis, Afghanistan refugees. 600 Somali families have occupied Fargo. Somalis outnumbered Hispanics in Fargo in the public school system. Refugee resettlement, led by the Lutheran Social Services, continued to bombard the state with foreign migrants, 70% of them embedded in the Fargo area. According to census data gathered by the Center for Immigration Studies, 23% of all students in the Fargo school district are foreign born. That number was close to 0 before the global war on terror. Even though the people who are, listen to this, are most persecuted in the Middle East and in the Syrian war in particular, most of them were Christians. Almost all of the refugees that have been sent to Fargo are Muslim. From fiscal year 2012 to 2022, 1.6% of the 30,000 Syrians that were resettled, almost all of them were Sunni Muslims. 1.6% were Christians. What's going on here? Why aren't we looking at this? Foreign-born population of North Dakota is now at 103% increase from 2010 to 2021. The unvetted Afghan refugees pumped in. And now this, and nobody's talking about it. That's the deep state. That's making sure you don't know what's happening in our own communities. That is excusing Islamic terrorism. That is not being brought up because you don't want to know how many people are coming across our border that wish us ill. And that's not just Islamic, that's also Chinese and Russian and Iraqis. There's a reason they don't want us focusing on that, and there's a reason The Blaze has that story. You can find it, theblaze.com. The blackout of the Fargo terrorist attack, theblaze.com.